Hello, and a good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good people of the tube. Hope today. Hope you are feeling grand and all's well in your world. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to NQ Wednesday. Let's get to question one, shall we, today? Yes, I think we shall. Okay, so question one is, when you removed the finish off the neck of Mr. White, did you treat the neck or anything, or did you just leave it bare wood? Okay, so just to repeat, just in case that wasn't very clear, because I felt I didn't word that very well. When I stripped the lacquer off the back of my white Strat that's sat over there, did I treat the wood that I uncovered under the lacquer with anything? No, I didn't. No, it's just bare wood. I just didn't see the need. And I did that years ago, and the neck's never moved. You know, and it's been through all kind of different conditions. It's been outside, it's been in the cold, it's been in the warm, it's been everywhere. It's never moved. So, my thinking was it's a truss rod that keeps the neck straight. I know the wood moves anyway, but the truss rod will take that strain, so to say, and it seems to have done. Touch wood. That's not wood. Hang on a minute. But touch wood. I'll show you. Be easier to show you, I suppose. So yeah, so basically, you can see down here, that's the original lacquer, and then obviously all that I took off, and but if I remember correctly, I initially had to get the lacquer off with I've got a knife that does really good kind of scraping, lacquer scraping, when you scrape the lacquer, and basically I got it down to the point where it was just basically took the lacquer off, and the wood was there. It was obviously very rough, and then that's basically fine sanded the neck down. And it's really dirty now. I don't know if you can tell, but the neck's really dirty. But no, it's just bare wood. I've never put anything on it. I never put any oil on it or anything like that. And it's ridiculous. I love the neck. I obviously love the neck on my white Strat. It's my favourite neck. But yeah, no, I didn't treat it with anything. I didn't feel the need, to be honest with you. I thought it was fine the way it was, so I didn't really see the point. So yeah, and they say it's just been that way ever since. I mean, God, it's so comfy, this neck is. Every time I pick it up, I'm like, especially if I go from one guitar to this. If I go from any guitar back to this guitar, I'm always like, But no, I didn't treat the neck with anything. I just left it bare wood, and that's what it is here. I say it just made the world of difference. And I did it on this guitar. Well, the first guitar I did it on was a yellow Strat I had. It was a Richwood Strat, which I eventually had scalloped. Which at the time was cool, but then I kind of realised I wish I hadn't done it to that guitar, but I ended up selling a guitar, so it doesn't matter. But that was the first guitar I did it to. I took the lacquer off the back of that neck first. And I remember obviously at the time I was gigging a lot, and I was using this and that yellow guitar, the yellow Richwood was my backup. And I remember one gig, I think I broke a string on this guitar. I think I broke my high E string on this guitar. I forget exactly what happened. But for some reason or another, I switched from Mr. White here to the yellow Richwood, which would have only happened, say, if I bust a string. So that must be what happened. I don't know. But so I broke a string or something happened, and I switched to the yellow Richwood, which again, at that point in time, had no finish on the back of the neck. Mr. White at that point in time did have all the lacquer on the back of the neck still. And I remember playing the yellow guitar for the rest of the night with no finish, and I was like, this feels... I just remember so clearly thinking how amazing this feels. So I was like, tomorrow, this is coming off. And so the next morning, after I sorted all my stuff out from the night before, I just stripped this neck, took it straight down to the wood and fine sanded it. And then the rest of the day I was playing it, and I was just like, that's so immense. And I love it. And I say I never treated it with anything. I took the lacquer off and fine sanded it, and that was that really. But yeah, I love it. It's so comfy, and it's really smooth. And I said the shape of this now is just like the shape of my hand. I've played it for that long. It's just me, and this is me in guitar form. But yeah, so we're a bit dusty though. But yeah, no, I haven't treated it with anything. I know a lot of people will say you should, but I've never have, and I could if I wanted to, I suppose, but there's no need. There's no need. It's still, it does the job. Touch wood, and and it love this guitar. Anyway, don't play it, Dave, because we'll get carried away and we won't answer other people's questions, will we, Dave? No, we won't, Dave. Will we? No. Anyway, moving along. So yeah, I hope that's this question. No, I didn't treat your neck with anything. It is what it is. Just bare wood. Okay, so moving along to question 2 now, and there's the fear already. Hello, Mr. Fear. What? He says I didn't answer the question very well. I thought I did okay. What do you think, people of the tube? Let me know. I thought I did okay. I don't know. Moving along. Question 2. So question 2 today is, how do you clean and condition your fretboards? Okay, so for the longest time, I would use lemon oil and, whatever fretboard cleaner I can get my hands on, until I bought Crimson Guitar's fretboard cleaner and fretboard restorative. I thought I'd give it a go. I'm a big fan of Crimson Guitars, so I thought I'll give it a go, because Ben on there, he always talks about kind of like how lemon oil isn't the best for your neck. And I did find that, actually, when I used to lemon oil the neck here on Mr. White, I used to find that, like, the neck, after about an hour or so, looked dry. No matter what I did, the neck looked dry. It never looked very kind of, like, good. It just looked like it was kind of being dried out by something, and I was like, oh, I don't like that. Anyway, after about a week, a couple of hours playing, like a week later, you wouldn't know, it wouldn't make any difference. But I always found that with lemon oil, and I didn't like it, and also I didn't like the way lemon oil felt, because it's always dead greasy and horrible. I didn't like it. So I thought I'd give Crimson Guitars fretboard cleaner and fretboard restorative a go, because like I said, been a big fan of Ben there at Crimson Guitars in general. I thought, why not give it a go? And the first guitar I tried it out on was the 62 that's downstairs. And literally, from that point on, I will not use lemon oil ever again. I will not use anything ever again other than their products to clean guitar necks, because they're incredible. The fretboard cleaner just destroys finger cheese and any other grossness that's on the fretboard. Just gets through it like nobody's business. And the fretboard restorative is just heaven for your fretboards. I mean, and you only have to do it 2 times a year, they say, which is great, because I did this one. Crumbs, when did I do this one? God, June? Maybe? July? I can't remember last time I did this, the fretboard cleaning on this. Not the fretboard cleaning, sorry, the restorative on this. I think it was sometime mid last year. And I need to do it again, to be honest with you, but it still looks amazing. It looks so healthy, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever. But yeah, so that's what I use. I mean, I'll say I used to use lemon oil and stuff like that, but I never really was kind of like happy with it. And then obviously listening to Ben on the Crimson Guitar say it's basically a petroleum product and it's going to dry the wood out. I'll take his word on that. He knows more about it than I do. And after trying their products, I'm just like, my God, especially the restorative. The fretboard restorative is insane. It's so good. I recommend it highly, people of the tube. If you're after fretboard cleaning stuff or anything like that, Crimson Guitars. Fretboard restorative, fretboard cleaner. Jobs are good and honestly amazing. I need to order some more actually, because I've nearly run out. But it's so worth it. The way it makes your fretboards look, feel, and the finish it gives them is just insane. It just makes them feel good. You know what I mean? They don't look dried out. They never look dried out. They never look kind of like, they look like they're kind of going white. Like if you've got a rosewood neck, like when they start to dry out, they kind of go white, and it's never a good look. But it's so amazing. I love it. So yeah, that's what I use now to clean and condition my fretboards, is Crimson Guitars stuff, because it's just amazing. And like I said, I've got no interest in going back to kind of using Dunlop lemon oil or whatever or anything like that. I just don't. I don't feel the need. I say, being creature of habit, I like people with a tube. As soon as I find something I like and works, I just stick to it like glue. And this stuff does the job. I don't need to use lemon oil or anything like that again. I've got this, so it's all good. So yeah, Crimson Guitars, fretboard cleaner and fretboard restorative. That's what I use, and that's what I will use until I can find something better, which probably won't happen. But anyway, there you go, people of tube. That's what I use, and I hope that's a question. But I say, it's amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing stuff. I couldn't believe it, actually, to be honest with you. It blew my mind. Okay, so moving on. So how much for question? Moving on to question 3 now. Okay, so question 3 today is: what are your thoughts on the Fender Acoustasonics, the Telecaster and the Strat acoustic electric thing? I don't really have any thoughts on them. I'm not interested in them, to be perfectly honest. They're not something that grabbed my attention when they came out, and they're not something that grabbed my attention now. Like, I'm not bothered by them in the slightest. Like, I remember there was a big thing about them when they came out, the Acoustasonics, and I was just a bit like, I'm not interested in that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. It functions no purpose in my world. You know what I mean? There's just I don't need that guitar, and as a result, I'm not interested in it. You know what I mean? So I don't really have an opinion on it, to be honest with you, because I don't care for it. And if I don't care for it, it'd be wrong of me to say, oh, it's amazing or it's bad, because that's kind of like not right. You know, I don't. If I don't have a position on it, then you know it is what it is. It's kind of a neutral thing, really. It's like it is what it is. But I'm not interested in them. I'm not interested in trying one. I'm not interested in getting my hands on one or anything like that. If I see one in a guitar shop, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably look at it, but I wouldn't be interested in trying to play it. You know what I mean? I'm literally not that bothered by it in the slightest. You know, I literally couldn't give a monkeys. There's quite a few kind of products, to be honest with you, that come out, and I'm sure we get it. I'm sure everyone's kind of got it at some point where something comes out and there's kind of a bit of a hype over it, or this, that, and the other, and everyone's kind of going a bit crazy over it. But you're like, I'm not interested, you know. And that's the way I am with the Acoustasonics. Like, they're very cool, you know. I get it, but I'm not interested. You know what I mean? There's just nothing. There's nothing in it for me there. So I can't really give an opinion on kind of what I think about it, or like, you know, if I think it's good or it's bad. I've never tried one. They could be amazing. I don't know. I don't care. If I'm being perfectly honest. Like I say, I don't. It's got no function really for me, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. I get it, but I don't need it. If that makes any sense. I don't know. I've said that way too much, but you know, they are what they are. You know. So yeah. I haven't got anything else to say. So I do apologise. Anyway, this is a quick Q&A. Something's wrong. Am I feeling okay? I haven't got a temperature or anything. I'm just gonna sit. I'm gonna sit here in silence to drag the video out. I'm joking. I'm not gonna do that. Okay. So anyway, so yeah, I hope this question. We're gonna move on to question 4. Now this one will get a little bit more involved. This is where the bulk of the video. So okay. So question 4 today is final question of the day. How can I get close to Mike MccCready's tone? What amp should I get? I have a Gibson Studio, a Marshall MG30FX. Also, how can I replicate Stone Gossard and Mike MccCready's pedalboard tones without busting the bank? And I'm a big fan of a Fender Tweed sound that they have. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. So how can you get close to Mike MccCready's tone? What amp? Okay, so I'm going to sound like a broken old record here. Can you guess what amp I'm going to recommend? People of the tube. For budget, Boss Katana. You know, and in all fairness, you can probably replicate quite a lot of Mike and Stone using just the Boss Katana. And the really, really cool thing is you could have bank... If you get the Boss Katana 100, you could have bank A set up for Mike and bank B set up for Stone, or vice versa, whichever way you want it to be. So you could have, like, bank A could be, like, you know, Mike's kind of clean tone, which is kind of like... dirty clean. It's not clean, you know. Mike's clean tone is never like proper clean. Now you can have like a Mike kind of rhythm tone, which is kind of really kind of cool. This kind of distortion, kind of gnarly distortion, if you will. And then you can have like a lead tone, and you could also have like, you know, another tone that kind of like, you know, replicates something like, I don't know, what can we think of? I don't know, but you know what I mean. And then on the other hand, you could have like Stone's kind of like Stone's clean tone, Stone's rhythm tone. Stone don't really do many solos, but he does occasionally. But you could have like, you know, different kind of like eras of kind of like Stone's tone. So I would go for a Boss Katana 100 personally. That's what I would recommend. And then also the other cool side of it, if you get the foot switch, if you get the K switch, you could have stuff. You can like program things in like a Univibe or a phaser or a delay. Delay is kind of important to Mike, delay isn't as important to Stone, I wouldn't say. But mic, you definitely need a delay pedal. Univibe would be good because Mike's always had some kind of modulation on his board, even from like, you know, Pearl Jam 10 when he had the Roto vibe, moving on to kind of like stuff. I've seen him with like a Phase 90. There's the Hughes and Kettner Roto Sphere, something like that. I can't remember what it's called exactly, but it's that thing. It's like a rotating speaker thing. Seen him with a couple of other Univibe things as well. But like, you know, so Univibe and a delay. Obviously, like something like a tube screamery thing to kick in solos, which you can do again with the K switch. And obviously, kind of like maybe something like a reverb for kind of like, you know, Mike isn't the biggest user of reverb. You know what I mean? He doesn't need reverb really, considering the places he gets to play. But you know, there is a place for reverb in his tone, definitely. But so yeah, I mean, so I would recommend Boss Katana 100 personally, because you get the 8 channels, which means, like I say, you can program Stone and mic into the same amp, which means you've got all those things without kind of like having to kind of spend money on having loads of pedals and stuff like that. The only external pedal I can think of you'll need for mic is like a Crybaby. You need a wah wah pedal. You know, I mean, you can have an expression pedal off the Katana. I'm pointing down at everybody because there's a Katana down there, but you can, yeah. But in all fairness, if you want like Mike's kind of wild, you want to get like a Crybaby. In all fairness, I would recommend the Vox Silvertop more than a Crybaby, but Mike does use a Crybaby more than the Silvertop. The Silvertop was kind of like 91, 92 era Mike, and well, even up to kind of maybe 94-ish. On occasion, but like invariably you see Mike with a Crybaby, and then recently, the last kind of like couple of years, he's used the custom audio electronics wah wah. It's the one with a really cool kind of like pattern on the tread plate, but yeah, I mean that's really the only external pedal you would need if you get the Katana 100, because like I say, you can program it all. You can have it all in the panel. You know what I mean? You can, like I say, you can have like bank A 1, 2, 3, and 4 as mic, bank B 1, 2, 3, and 4 as Stone, or you could have bank A 1, 2, 3, 4, and then bank B 1 and 2 as mic, and then have Stone as 3 and 4 on bank B. You know what I mean? There's a lot of options there, and again, because the Katana has a lot of inbuilt effects that you can just program. You don't even need a tone studio. You can just get it from the front panel or top panel, as the Katana 100 will be. You really, you know, you might have to splash out obviously a bit more to get the K switch, but I think it's worth it in the long run, because then you've got it all kind of like in a nice kind of neat little package. Because the Katana 100 isn't massive. It's small. It's compact. I remember you saying something about it needs to have a headphone socket because you live in a small apartment. Pretty sure the Katana 100 has a headphone thing. If it doesn't, it goes really quiet. I've got hiccups all of a sudden. But yeah, so that'll cover a lot of your bases, to be honest with you. Getting the Katana 100 will cover a lot of your bases, because not only can you kind of get close to Mike's tone with the Katana, you can also replicate his pedal board really well without having to go out and buying external pedals. You know what I mean? The only pedal you need is a wah-wah. So that's obviously you'd have to go out and buy the K switch to the GAFC? Sounds like a football club. We have a GAFC. Okay. But yeah, you'd have to go out and obviously get the K switch with the Katana, and then obviously a wah-wah. But once you had the Katana, the K switch, and a wah-wah, you're pretty much sorted. And you said you've got a Gibson Les Paul Studio. I mean, that's Mike's a big user of Les Paul. Stone's a massive user of Les Pauls. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, the Marshall MG 30FX, personally, I don't rate that amp very highly at all. I don't like the new MGs at all. I haven't tried the MG Gold. One day I'll buy one and give it a go. But the new MGs I've tried, I just don't like. They just don't cut the mustard. If I'm being honest. Yeah, they just don't work for me. But I find them far too thin and nasty and horrible. And they don't have any kind of like size to their sound. They're always really skinny and small. So personally, I mean, what I'd recommend is, like I say, getting a Boss Katana, doing that with that, getting a wah-wah pedal, getting the K-switch, and then going from there, really. And then, you know, you can find mic and stone fairly easy in the Katana. You know, they're not particularly difficult. They're difficult tones to dial in, but they're not all at the same time. It's very, very weird. It's like certain tones are kind of like easy to get, but hard to perfect. That's not the right word. Tweak to being right. You know what I mean? You can kind of get in the ballpark really quick, but it's not quite there, and then it takes a bit of thinking. But the Katana will help you with that, because the Katana's EQ section is extremely versatile and very, very interactive and very, very cool. So you can do that very easily. So, like I say, that's what I'd recommend. I mean, that covers all bases, really. Like I say, I mean, if you didn't want to go down that route, you want to get something like a multi-effects unit instead. You know, something like the Zoom G5N that I've got. The Zoom G5N is a great example. I mean, it's a bit of a nightmare with the scroll function, but getting a multi-effects unit will help you. And then also, like, you know, the fact is you can keep your Marshall, and you could just set that thing clean and get all the sound from that pedal instead. So you could have, like, you know, different banks set up for different players like Mike and Stone. And again, you've got all the effects you need inside the multi-effects unit. I wouldn't really recommend, and then you've also got a wah in there as well. But I wouldn't really recommend going out and buying individual pedals to do Mike and Stone, because you need to buy quite a lot. You know, like I say, you need like you'll need like a rotary kind of like Univibe kind of pedal for Mike. You need a delay pedal for Mike. You need a wah-wah pedal for Mike. Tube screamery kind of pedal for Mike. I mean, trying to think of anything else that Mike he really uses. I mean, I know he uses delay a lot. Not really necessarily reverb, like I said earlier on, but you know, you need those kind of things. So you need those, you know, so you'd have to go out and buy like 4 pedals. Same with Stone. You'd have to go out and buy like, you know, a wah-wah pedal, because Stone does use a wah-wah for certain riffs, like the Evolution riff. That I can't better hum it, but you know, there's quite a few things that Stone will kick on a wah-wah to get different tonality, but also stuff like, you know, delay. Stone does use delay, not a great deal, but yeah, Stone's a very kind of like clean cut guitarist, really, though. You know, apart from certain things here and there, he's very kind of clean and distortion. You know what I mean? He's very straight. You know, Mike's the guy with more of the effects. I've always seen Pearl Jam in that way. It's like Mike's got the sonics, whereas Stone's kind of got the bass, if that makes any sense in the guitar world. You know, Mike adds the textures, and Stone just kind of like covers the big kind of like, you know, the bass for that. And I've always thought that's really important if you've got 2 guitarists in the band. You know, one has to do a different thing to the other, and they have to sound different. And they do. You know, they sound really cool together. They sound amazing. And when you take Pearl Jam songs apart and you start looking at how their guitar parts fit together, Mike and Stone's, it's genius. Absolute genius. So like I say, failing the Boss Katana route, I would say go for something like a multi-effects unit, like a G5N by Zoom. They're amazing. You know what I mean? You know, something like that. Because then you're just going to be able to cover all bases through that. Like I wouldn't really recommend going out and buying individual pedals. That is going to kind of break your bank. You know, it's going to be expensive. So you know, I would either go route 1, which is Boss Katana, the K switch, and a wah-wah pedal, or route 2, which is stick with your Marshall and get something like the Zoom G5N multi effects unit. So you've kind of got all in one unit, and then kind of like dial it into your amp. So yeah, so that's it really. I can't think of anything else really, but I'll say no. I'm just kind of going over old ground if I start talking again. But this has been quick, man. This is quick. A bit scary. Okay, but yeah, that's what I'd recommend. And I say the Boss Katana is just the do-all amp. It's just ridiculous. I mean, for the budget it is as well, it's insane. And you can pick them up second-hand even cheaper, especially if you find Mark 1s. But they're amazing. So, yeah. I ain't got anything else to say. So, I hope that's a question. I'm a bit worried. But I hope that's been... Yes, shut up. Fear. I don't know. Anyway, hope that's a question. I hope I've answered your questions okay. Today, people of YouTube, I know it's been, well, kind of short. 25 minutes? No, 30 minutes. So, yeah, not really. But, But anyway, I hope this question's okay. I hope there's been something in there you can kind of take away, and kind of, I hope some of it made some kind of sense. And yeah, so I will see you again for another video, everybody. Have a great morning, afternoon, good day. Oh, yeah. Before I go, I need to say, if you want to submit a question for Q&A Wednesday, description box below has an email link. Email me there, and I will get to your question when I get to it. If I don't answer your question, odds are I've already answered it in the past. So you might just have to do a bit of rummaging around in the playlist to find where they are. But I think there's so many in there now. But yeah, so but I go through sequentially. I don't pick and choose. I just go through them. And the only reason I don't answer a question is if I've done it before multiple times. So yeah, that's the only reason I don't do it. So if you also submit a question, description box below, email link. Job's a good one. So yeah, as I say, hope I answer questions okay, everybody. Have a great morning, afternoon, and good evening, and very goodbye now.